Hey yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Starlight William Magician here, bringing you my Exodia deck profile. Super excited to be doing a deck profile, and this is as Exodia is one of my top two. It is my second favorite deck to play. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a deck profile. With that, let's get into the deck profile. So for the start, I play, of course, all 5 pieces of Exodia. So the Exodia head, the right arm, the right leg, and the left leg. The effect of Exodia is if you get all 5 pieces in your hand, you basically win the duel. I then play 3 copies of Emissary of the Afterlife. Emissary of the Afterlife has the effect where if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, each player selects one level 3 or lower normal monster from their deck and adds it to their hand after showing it to the opponent. Then your decks are shuffled, which is just a great card in general because the mass majority of the time your opponent won't have a level 3 normal monster in their deck, so it just gives you the search power, and then it also shuffles your opponent's deck as well in case they end up wanting something specific on the top of their deck, they can reshuffle it back in. I then play 3 copies of Sangan. Sangan has the effect, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 monster with 1500 or less attack with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, but you cannot activate cards or effects with the same name for the rest of the turn, which normally you won't have to because your searches are just to search your pieces of Exodia. I also play the 3 copies of Witch of the Black Forest. Witch of the Black Forest again is just is another searcher, because Witch of the Black Forest shares a similar effect to Sangan, to where if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, but you cannot activate cards or effects of cards with that name for the rest of the turn. You can only activate the effect of Witch of the Black Forest once per turn. I also played 2 copies of Dekochi, the Battle Change Locomotive. Has the effect where if it's flip, draw 1 card, and then draw an additional 1 card for each face up Dekochi cards you control, but you don't have any others, so normally you just set this and then you flip it to draw a card. Then I also play 2 copies of Marshmallow. Marshmallow is just for the stall, because Marshmallow can't be destroyed with battle. After damage calculation, if this card was attacked and was face down at the start of the damage step, the attacking player takes 1000 damage, which is just a great way to stall while you grab your pieces of Exodia. And then the last monster of the deck profile is Lava Golem. Lava Golem's just in here as a 1, so you can get rid of your opponent's monsters in case they have like a couple negates on the field. You can tribute them off and give them Lava Golem instead. And Lava Golem also does burning damage, which I think is brilliant. That is it for the monsters. Let us get into the spells. So for the spell cards, we play 3 copies of Pot of Duality. Pot of Duality lets you excave the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 of them to your hand, and then after that shuffle the rest of the cards into the deck. But you cannot special summon during the time you activate this card's effect, which we don't normal summon, or we don't special summon from the main deck. We do have an extra deck, so I would be careful when you use this card, but But it never normally is an issue when you're in a duel. Then I also play 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance has the effect at the start of the damage. At the start of your main phase, banish 3 or 6 random face down cards from your extra deck, and then draw 1 card for each 3 cards banished. For the rest of the turn, you cannot draw any card from the deck. Which normally you'd want to use this if you haven't got any capability or any cards in your hand to help you draw. You can just activate this, and then you can just do whatever, but you'll be unable to special summon. No, you'll be unable to add cards from your deck to your hand once you use this. I play 1 Pot of Avarice because a lot of the time you'll have monsters in the grave, so you can shuffle 5 monsters from your graveyard back into the deck to draw 2 cards. Of course, I play the 3 copies of Messenger of Peace. Monsters with 1500 or more cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, during the standby phase, you pay 100 life points or destroy this card. Which 100 life points is really is a small price to pay, considering any monster with 1500 or more attack can't declare an attack. So this is basically like a safety barrier. If you're low on life points, you may have to get rid of it, but other than that, like, this is just a great card to help you survive for longer. Now I play 1 Upstart Goblin, draw 1 card, then your opponent gains 1000 life points. And then I play 1 Day of Peace. Each player draws 1 card, and then neither player takes damage until the end of your opponent's turn. Which again, like, even though your opponent draws a card, you get to draw a card and then no one takes damage. That is it for the spells. Let us get into the traps. So for the trap cards, we have a nice set of traps. We have 3 copies to start off with of Ordeal of the Traveller. One of my favourite cards to play in an Exodia deck, because you can only activate this card's effect when your opponent declares an attack. Your opponent selects 1 random card in your hand and calls the type of card, monster, spell, or trap. If your opponent calls it wrong, the attacking monster is returned to the owner's hand. Not only is this not once per turn, it is a pain in the ass to get around, because if your opponent's monster declares an attack, they call it wrong, you can literally, like, you can clear a field with just this card alone if you get lucky enough. That's why I have it as a 3, and it's also a great stall card. Then I play the 3 Wabaku. After damage calculation, any damage inflicted by an opponent's monster is decreased to 0. So basically, you take no damage if you when you activate Wabaku. And then I play the last of the traps, which is 3 Threatening Roar. Your opponent cannot declare an attack this turn, which again is just a great card to stall while you get your plays for getting Exodia. That is it for the traps and the main deck. Let us get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we play 3 copies of Witch of the Black Forest. Wee Witch's Apprentice. Wee Witch's Apprentice requires 2 dark monsters. All dark monsters on the field gain 500 attack. Also, all light monsters on the field lose 400 attack and defense. Now, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one dark monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only activate the effect of Wee Witch's appearance once per turn. So Wee Witch's in areas of 3 is because we have a lot of dark monsters, and also you contribute your Wee Witch or Sangan, Wee Witch and Sangan, and then that will give you the ability to search for 2 cards, which you can search 2 pieces off the bat. Not only that, if this card's destroyed, it lets you grab a monster from the grave. So, say if you have to throw a piece of Exodia to the grave, if you're about to die, then if this card gets destroyed, then it lets you grab that back to your hand. I then play 2 copies of Salamangreat Almirage. Almirage has the effect. Almirage has the summoning requirements: 1 normal summoned monster with 1,000 or less attack, and then quick effect: you contribute this card and target 1 monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. When this card's when a normal summoned monster you control is destroyed by battle, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only activate the effect of Almirage once per turn. Which the summoning requirements of a normal monster with 1,000 or less attack. Looking at all the searches you got in your deck, a lot of them will say Sangan, because you're able to use him. You contribute your Sangan off to search for Salamangreat, which then also you can use Sangan's effect to search. And then if you have another monster on the field, you can link climb into a link 2. I then play 2 copies of Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorn requires 2 monsters with different names. Now, if this card is link summoned, you can discard 1 card, target 1 card on the field, shuffle it back into the deck. And if this card was co-linked, when a card or effect is activated, you can draw 1 card. You can only activate the effect of Nightmare Unicorn once per turn. And then while any co-linked Nightmare monsters on the field, while any Nightmare monsters on the field of your normal draw, you can draw 1 card for each different card name among those co-linked Nightmares. And then I play 1 Nightmare Phoenix, because Nightmare Phoenix has the effect: if this card is link summoned, you can discard 1 card, target 1 spell trap on your opponent's control, destroy it. But if this card was co-linked, when an effect was activated, you can draw 1 card. You can only activate the effect of Nightmare Phoenix once per turn. So Phoenix is just in here for the spell pop, and Unicorn's in there just for the monster shuffle. They're also pretty powerful cards as well. Then I play 1 copy of Decode Talker. Decode has the effect: gains 500 attack for each monster this points to. Then when your opponent activates a card's effect that targets cards you control, quick effect: you contribute 1 card this card points to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So it's a nice little negate on the field, and it's got 2300 attack as is, so it's quite powerful. Then we won 1 copy of IP. IP, during your main phase, you can quick effect immediately after the effect resolves. Link summon 1 link monster using materials you control, including this card. You can only use the effect of IP Masquerena once per turn. Then once per turn, a link monster that will be used. A link monster that used this card as material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then for the last 2, I play 1 Artemis Magist Moon Maiden, and 1 Powerco Talker. But that is it for this Exodia deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.